The panicked voice, captured in the 911 recording, would later become undeniable. Evidence on my side. Someone has tampered with the locks on shared community property. She screamed into her phone, planted squarely on my front porch. Demand officers be dispatched immediately. What the Homeowners Association president, Linda Garrison, failed to realize was that I was standing just a few feet away, listening quietly through the window. And I was about to make a very different phone call, one that would flip her self-righteous power trip into an unforgettable nightmare. I had purchased the aging Henderson place barely 3 weeks ago. It sat near the edge of Maple Ridge Drive, a property that technically fell just outside the limits of the Sunset Meadows HOA. The house had been foreclosed on, and I was able to secure it at a fantastic price because it required substantial renovation. What I hadn't expected, however, was Linda Garrison arriving at my door one random Tuesday morning, gripping what looked like an old brass skeleton key. "Excuse me," she said, in a voice soaked with entitlement, as if she was used to being obeyed without resistance. "I'm here for the monthly inspection." She wore a tailored navy blazer with an HOA president pin that gleamed as if freshly polished. Her platinum blonde hair sat unmoving in the breeze, and her practiced smile stopped. Just short of her eyes. "There must be a mistake," I replied, setting my paint roller aside. "This is privately owned property. I closed on it 3 weeks ago." Her smile wavered for the briefest moment before snapping back into place, now tighter, more forced. "Young man, this home is part of the Sunset Meadows HOA," she said, holding the brass key aloft as though it were a royal emblem. "We have legal inspection access to every residence in our community. This master key opens them all." I kept my tone polite but firm, amused despite myself. "I have all the legal paperwork inside, including a boundary survey. This property isn't within your HOA's jurisdiction." She waved her manicured hand dismissively. "I don't need to see any papers. I've presided over this HOA for 8 years. I know every parcel we govern without waiting." She stepped forward and reached toward my front door with the brass key. "Ma'am," said clearly. "Now, less patient, please. Step back. You're attempting to enter private property without permission." Her face flushed deep pink, clashing with her coral lipstick. "How dare you speak to me like that? Do you have any idea who I am?" "Linda Garrison," I said evenly, "president of the Sunset Meadows HOA. That doesn't give you the right to enter my home." She jabbed a finger at my chest. "You'll be hearing from our lawyers. Nobody defies the HOA." And with that, she spun around, stomped back to her white Lexus parked at the curb, and slammed the door hard enough to make her parking decal flutter. I genuinely thought that would be the end of it. I returned to painting the living room, enjoying the calm satisfaction of homeownership, blissfully free of HOA micromanagement. But Linda wasn't done. People like her rarely are. Just past noon, I heard a ruckus outside. Looking through the window, I saw Linda's Lexus once again parked in front. She was back on my porch, furiously trying to force the brass key into my lock, twisting and muttering angrily to herself. I opened the door before she could destroy the lock entirely. "Can I help you with something, Mrs. Garrison?" She gasped dramatically, clutching her chest like she'd seen a ghost. "You changed the locks," she exclaimed, as if I'd committed a felony. "That violates HOA regulations. Can't alter locks without board approval." Ma'am-ass. "I told you before this property isn't under your HOA, and even if it were, I haven't changed a thing. These locks came with the house." Her eyes narrowed. "You're lying. This key has opened this door for years. The previous owner understood the rules. He granted us full access." "The previous owner lost this property in a foreclosure," I reminded her calmly. "Whatever arrangements he made are no longer valid. That's when she whipped out her phone with theatrical flair. "If you want to play hardball, we'll do it the hard way." She dialed, then locked eyes with me in smug triumph. "Yes. Hello. I need the police dispatched to my location immediately. There's a squatter on HOA property. He's changed the locks and refuses to leave." I watched in disbelief as she rattled off my address to the dispatcher with total confidence, fully believing the lies coming out of her mouth. "Yes, I'm the HOA president. I have full legal authority here. He's acting unstable. Please hurry." She kept up her drama while I quietly stepped inside and picked up my phone. If she wanted to weaponize 911, then I had my own ace to play. I dialed a number I knew by heart. County Dispatch. "Sarah speaking." "Hey, Sarah. It's David Morrison. I think we've got a situation unfolding at my new place on Maple Ridge." Sarah Martinez had been one of my closest friends since high school. She had been working as a dispatcher for 5 years and had earned a reputation as one of the sharpest in the department. "I heard you closed on a place out there." "What's going on?" "There's an HOA president outside accusing me of squatting in my own home." "I believe she just filed a false police report." There was a short pause. "Linda Garrison?" Sarah asked knowingly, white Lexus hair like a frozen helmet. "That's her?" "Let me pull up the property records. Parcel number 472-8916. I heard typing on the other end. "Okay, here we go. Yep, you're correct. That property lies outside the Sunset Meadows HOA limits. In fact, it's never been included in any HOA." Tried explaining that to her, I said, peeking out the window again. Linda was now pacing and ranting loudly into her phone. "She's got a key that doesn't work and thinks that means I'm the criminal?" "I've got a call here now from your address," Sarah said. "She's reporting a squatter situation. Officers are already en route. Johnson and Pike are on the way. I'll make sure they get the truth before they arrive." "Thanks, Sarah. I've got all my documents ready." "Good. I'll mark this as a false report and trespass situation. And David," she added in a more personal tone, "you might want to invest in security cameras. I don't think this is the last time you'll see her." As I hung up, I saw Linda ending her own call. She stood triumphantly at the edge of my driveway, arms folded, clearly expecting to watch me be handcuffed and dragged away. I calmly gathered the closing documents, the property deed, and my boundary survey from the filing cabinet, and stepped onto the porch. Within 10 minutes, 2 patrol vehicles rolled up to my home. Linda bolted toward them, waving her arms like she was on fire. "Officers, thank God you're here. That man is trespassing on HOA property." But instead of rushing toward me, the officers walked right past her. "Mr. Morrison? Officer Johnson?" asked as he approached the steps. "That's me," I replied, offering the documents. "Thanks for coming out." Linda's mouth dropped. "Wait, what? Why are you talking to him? He's the squatter." "Ma'am, please step back while we sort this out," Officer Pike said, his tone firm but polite. "But I made the call. I'm Linda Garrison, HOA president." "We're aware," Officer Johnson said evenly. "Please step aside." I explained everything to the officers from the morning encounter to the second incident. My tone remained steady and respectful. Johnson reviewed the survey and pointed to the line clearly marked on the map. "According to this, your property ends here, and the HOA begins about 50 feet down the road." "That's impossible," Linda snapped. "I have a master key. It proves we have access." "Mrs. Garrison," Officer Pike asked, "do you have any documentation that grants the HOA authority over this specific parcel?" "I don't need documents. I've been HOA president for 8 years. I know this community like the back of my hand." "But do you have legal paperwork? An agreement? Anything showing this house is under HOA rule?" Her face reddened again. "That key is the proof." Officer Johnson folded his arms. Ma'am, owning a key to a property doesn't grant you legal right to enter, and you've been asked to leave. That makes this trespassing. Officer Pike chimed in, voice sharp now. On top of that, you placed a false call to emergency services. That's a serious offense. The blood drained from Linda's face. But I'm the HOA president, she whispered, almost as a plea. And that title does not give you legal authority over homes outside HOA boundaries, Johnson replied. You have two choices. Leave now with a formal warning, or be arrested for trespassing and misuse of emergency resources. Linda looked between them, speechless, the brass key still shaking in her hand. This isn't over, she hissed at me as they walked her back to the Lexus. You're welcome to pursue legal avenues, I said coolly. But for now, please, stay off my property. Johnson gave me a nod. If she returns, call us immediately. This incident is now on record. 3 days later, a letter arrived in my mailbox, official Sunset Meadows HOA letterhead. But instead of the threats I expected, it was a formal statement acknowledging that, upon review, parcel 472-8916 lies outside HOA control. I had it professionally framed and hung it next to the front door. The real justice came during the next HOA meeting. Word of Linda's 911 stunt had spread faster than backyard gossip. Residents bombarded her with questions. How many homes had she unlawfully entered? How long had she misused that key? A unanimous vote removed her from office effective immediately. She sat silently as her kingdom crumbled. But it didn't stop there. The board initiated an audit, which uncovered nearly $15,000 in misused funds and multiple violations of state property codes. 6 months later, the court ordered Linda to repay the full amount plus legal costs. As the judge read the verdict, she looked like a balloon slowly losing air, defeated and speechless. And me, I just enjoyed the peace and quiet, because some locks and some boundaries were never hers to cross.